Making clinical decisions. You know, this is a big thing in modern surgery, isn't it? How do you combine what's published, randomized controlled trials or evidence-based medicine versus your clinical experience? You know, all your experience as a surgeon, maybe getting on a bit, you've done a lot of operating, but you didn't publish it all. You published very little of it, but you know what you're talking about based on your previous experience. How do you balance up these two things? Now, this is a very interesting article in the JBJS that I came across. I'll put the reference on the screen there for you. And I know a couple of the authors on it. They're senior and quite respected authors, but I thought it was going to be a dreary old subject until I actually got to the last couple of pages and actually restored my faith and confidence in my colleagues. I was really pleased to read the last bit. And in the last bit, they're talking about, you know, how do you look at this? Evidence-based, you know, these randomized controlled trials, Cochrane report, all that stuff, and the clinical experience. Well, they say that all the scientists and epidemiologists and statisticians, you know, they see our clinical experience, we as clinicians see this evidence-based medicine as rather uninspiring and as rather poorly performed Baroque music. So he uses the metaphor of music, poorly performed Baroque music. But these economists, academics, scientists, they see we clinicians, our approach to it has been analogous to punk rock. So boring Baroque, punk rock. But the very clever authors of this article say, hey, we should look at it as good jazz, combining technical mastery with the artistry of improvisation. That's a nice way of putting it, actually. And what they suggest is we should have a scoring system that puts together the randomized controlled trials, whatever evidence is based in the literature, plus our clinical experience based on, well, number of cases seen recently, how many years you've been in practice, this sort of thing. There should be a scoring system. So this is actually quite a big challenge to work this out, because, you know, one of the problems with the so-called evidence-based is that busy clinicians like me, we don't publish much, you know, unfortunately. You know, they say those who know do it and those who don't publish. And we always have this large discussion. You can't just base your decision on what's published, because there's usually very little there. You've got to base upon this vague area of clinical experience. So maybe some sort of scoring system, as suggested in this article, is some area that we should be looking at.